Human trafficking is defined these days as modern-day slavery. And so human trafficking's definition, it's when people are compelled to labor for someone else's financial gain, either in the sex industry through commercial sex acts or in other labor settings, and they're held in those situations against their will. To keep people trapped in human trafficking, they create a culture of fear, and so through that culture of fear, the threats of terrible things happening become really overpowering, and oftentimes are what help to keep somebody in that situation. There are a lot of really awful techniques that are used. So people are certainly, physically abused or sexually abused or assaulted. And other times people are drawn into human trafficking through a fraudulent situation where they think they're going to be working in a very legitimate situation, and they're going to be able to support their families and realize the American dream. And really, in fact, it was always intended to be this exploitation in human trafficking. We have lots of myths around what experiences are like for those who are selling sex, and we have lots of beliefs that this is a victimless crime and that it's always consensual and the person is always making choices. And I think oftentimes we forget that you make choices within sometimes a very limited scope of options, and so what may be a choice for someone with options that have to do with surviving or not surviving it's not really a real true choice. The vast majority of those that we serve who come out of sex trafficking have endured really tremendous physical and psychological and emotional and spiritual harm from their involvement in it. We have a lot of myths, I think, that victims are only female. And definitely here in Columbus, we've gotten pretty good at identifying female victims of sex trafficking, particularly those who are American-born. But we know that there are many others who are trafficked who are kind of harder to find, whether that would be male victims in general, sometimes foreign national victims. We just know that others are out there, that we need to develop the capacity to do a good job in finding them. %17% of all of the victims that have been identified since 2008 have been foreign-born here in Central Ohio. Most of the foreign nationals have been trafficked in labor settings that we have identified, whether it's in agricultural or people being maybe trafficked in a restaurant, or individuals being trafficked in domestic servitude in someone's home and never able to leave that home, not really being paid for any of the work they're doing there, and maybe working 16 hours a day routinely with all contact cut off from the outside world. They're made to understand by their traffickers that it's very unsafe to go to the authorities. So they have great fear of police, of reaching out maybe to social services or talking to doctors. The Central Ohio Rescue and Restore Coalition, it was established in 2007 here in Central Ohio. The National Department of Health and Human Services had a campaign across the country that they called the Rescue and Restore campaign, and their intention was to help communities build capacity to identify and to help victims. They selected Central Ohio as an area that was in need of that type of an effort. The newly forming coalition asked the Salvation Army to be the coalition manager, so we've continued to manage the group since that time. Now our efforts are focused in 5 areas. One very, very large area is raising public awareness so that the public in general understands what it is, knows how to identify human trafficking, knows how to report it. Then a whole area around victim services, because if we are going to identify victims, we have to be sure that they have a whole continuum of care in our community. We work around legislation and advocacy to support the work that's going on in the Ohio legislature and to support also the work at the federal level to strengthen the laws. We work around demand reduction. If we don't end the demand for sex and labor trafficking, it will continue. And then lastly, law enforcement. It's the Central Ohio Human Trafficking Task Force. So Columbus Police and other jurisdictions and partners at the state and partners at the federal level who are working together. Our role at Salvation Army is really to bring everybody to the table and help us to achieve our common goals.